You guys, I started memory keeping. I know. I've been talking about it in the last couple of videos. Am I sure? Can I manage 3 notebooks? I have this that I'm just starting, and then I've been journaling in my Hobonichi A6. And then I have my A5 planner. So it's a lot. It's a lot. I think I got inspired after I recorded my 2024 planner and journal lineup. It just got me thinking, maybe I do have the time, and I just did it. Obviously, it's early days. I haven't been journaling in here consistently enough to know that it's working, but it is working for right now. It's been great. I've been journaling every night before bed, and either memory planning, which I'm just writing simply what I did that day, or reflecting on the day. So almost like a gratitude journal, but then if I'm having a rough day, I also like to write that out. I miss journaling every day, and that's the plus side of having a memory keeper, which is that you don't have to say much, especially with this format. Like, this is a traditional planner setup, and I'm just simply writing underneath each day. I will admit, I miss it. I miss journaling every day, and that's the plus side of having a memory keeper, which is that you don't have to say much. Especially if you're not a writer or you haven't been journaling much. I find that memory keeping, just simply writing down what I did that day, helps you eventually become a better writer. Because in the first couple of days, that's what I did. I was just writing down what I did. Once I found my footing, which fortunately took little time, I found myself expressing how I feel, and damn, it felt good. It feels good. So for any of you who have been following my planner journey, what is the difference between my memory planner and my Hobonichi journal and my A5? You would think I wouldn't need a memory journal if I time block and have my entire schedule filled in, but there is a difference. So let's talk about that. My Hobonichi is for journaling, but more so deep journaling. I'm not sure if that's the correct term, but sometimes something happens in my life and I just need to get it down on paper, and sometimes it requires a lot of paper. And that is where all of that happens. I also have a labeling system. So I'm not only journaling in here, I'm also articles, book notes and reviews, and quotes. So it's a book with pretty much everything. My A5 6-ring planner is my schedule. Day-to-day planning, work stuff, content creating, that's all in here. As I said, the passion planner would be for memory keeping / journaling / gratitude journaling. So there is a difference between the journals. I don't think there's a huge overlap. Like, I'm not repeating the same thing in all 3 journals. However, if the passion planner was strictly memory keeping, then my A5 has that, because I do time block. But it's the plans for that day, which doesn't always go to plan, but I mean, most of the time it does. So when it does, if I was memory keeping in this planner, it would match with my A5. Like, there is a bit of an overlap. But other than that, when I'm looking at my A5 and I'm looking at my day, yes, it does remind me like the things that I did, but it doesn't remind me how I feel. And that's another reason I like to memory keep, because I'm not going to lie, my memory has gone to since I became a mom. Like, the mommy brain, people warned me while I was pregnant because my memory was pretty bad when I was pregnant. But people said even after you have your baby, your memory is just not the way it used to be. When I'm memory keeping and I'm journaling every single day, I am reminded of how I felt, those feelings, not just what I did. On that note about my memory, I think I was backtracking at some point between Thursday and Friday. Maybe the right word would be backlogging. I was backlogging, and this is a perfect example of why my memory is just not the way it used to be. But on Tuesday, I could not remember what I did for the life of me. I couldn't write down how I felt or how I felt about what I did. Even though I have my A5 to reference, like I obviously know what I did, but I just could not remember how I felt. That's what's been going on in my journal lineup. I am a little nervous that I started a third planner, but luckily this is undated. So there isn't a ton of pressure to journal every day. Anywho, I have a little bit of backlogging to do here. These days I went to New Orleans. It was my first time in New Orleans, so I'm going to do that for a little bit. And then tonight I have book club. So I have a lot of prep to do today. Luckily it's 5 a.m. right now. So I have plenty of time to prep, but still I've got things to do. before you all shake your head because of this, I want to say, first and foremost, I do apologize for anybody who was expecting a video last week. I was not able to have this video up because our household is sick. My son has RSV. Anyone who has had a child sick with RSV knows how difficult it is, especially when they're a baby. It is so hard for them to communicate. It's been hard. I'm taking it one day at a time. That's the best I can do. And so when something like this happens, okay, posting for my YouTube channel kind of goes out the window. If I have work tasks, then I will try to complete those to the best of my ability. The house is going to be messy. Like, I'm not going to be sticking to my chores. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. So a lot of things just kind of go out the window when someone is sick. I had all these activities planned this week because my husband is out of town, like play dates, events. I had a Galentine's event planned with my book club girls and their kids, and it's not going to happen. This week, I haven't really looked at my planner because everything I had planned this week, I can't even do, including posting this video. I am so behind on editing this video. So I figured instead of having a 15-minute cozy vlog, I'm aiming for 30 to 40 minutes. Personally, I like a longer vlog. So I think this will be a bonus video, even though I didn't post last week. If this happened last year, I would have been a wreck. Anytime something like this happens, like someone getting sick, and as a result of that, I am not checking things off in my planner, it would have torn me up. Like, deep down inside, I would have been an emotional mess. And that is why my word of the year is harmony. The intention of accepting these sudden changes in my schedule gracefully. So minus the anxiety. So this year is all about making peace with that. Even though I'm having a difficult week, you know, there were a couple moments I just felt like crying. It sucks to get to that place when you feel so helpless. At the end of the day, I'm actually quite proud of myself because of how well I'm taking this. Like, I didn't lose my not one time. I didn't yell. Yes, there were moments I was frustrated, but I held it together for the sake of my son. That is the silver lining in this week's situation. Growth. I can't be mad at that. Okay. The elephant in the room. Why do I have this? Why is this sitting here? This is the Hobonichi Techo 2024 Cousin. This is the spring version in Japanese. Why do I have this here? Seriously, why? I seriously have a problem. But before you judge, I have my reasons. This is the Hobonichicousin. I just told you all in the beginning of this video that I started memory planning in my passion planner. The thing that I was having a difficult time accepting is having 3 notebooks. So A5, A6 passion planner. That's 3 different journals / notebooks. 2 is manageable, but 3 is overwhelming. Even though it hasn't even been 2 weeks of using the passion planner, I immediately found a problem. It was working for about a week, but I immediately found the problem, and that is 3 is overwhelming. So I see the issue. I don't want 3 journals / planners, and because it's only March, I want to fix the problem immediately. My way of justifying this purchase is these planners are undated. Actually, let me grab it real quick. These planners are undated, or at least I'm not using the dates. The passion planner is undated, so you could just fill in the dates as you're using it. And then the Hobonichi A6 AVEC, this here is dated, but I am not using the dates. I am only using the dates almost like page numbers, and then I'm archiving my entries. So, justifying the purchase, I can always return to this at some point in the year or next year for that matter. Second justification, the reason I personally don't like switching systems in the middle of the year is because, like many of us, I have a problem when it comes to purchasing stationery. I'm always tied to a stationery subscription service. I also purchase random stationery throughout the year, but this year I've been pretty good. And I'm talking about the start of 2024. I have not purchased anything frivolously. I did buy a mouse pad for myself, which should be coming in the mail soon, but I needed that because my mouse is ruining the finish on my desk. Other than that, I haven't purchased any stationery. I canceled my cloth and paper stationery subscription service this month. I might get back into that at some point in the year, but it would take a lot on cloth and paper's end to convince me to sign up for another 3 months. And right now they have increased the price, or they will be in April. It's nice having new stationery, but I'm not using the stuff from the sub boxes as much as I'd like. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 things that I integrate into my planning system, but other than that, I'm not using the rest of it. I'm kind of like, well, I'll just save this in case I need it, but I'm not actually using it. So that is canceled. So no subscription services, no shopping. I think this purchase is justified. This is technically my first stationery purchase of the year. Let's unwrap this because this is my first time looking at a Hobonichicousin. So I think I know what the format is, but let's look at it first before I explain what I'm going to do. Do love the paper in the Hobonichi. I've always thought that the thicker the paper, the better, because back in my bullet journaling days, like that mattered. For some of my bullet journaling setups, I would need paint or markers. So the thicker the paper, the better, so that it doesn't bleed or ghost. The paper in the Hobonichi is quite thin. It almost reminds me of like paper found in a Bible. Very, very thin. This is the spring edition. So the year at a glance, or maybe this is the future log, starts in April. And it goes till March of 2025. The monthly overview starts in February. So that's nice. I can backlog. What I would be using the monthly overview for is habit tracking. That's what I did in my A6 AVECT. That's what I'm going to do in here. Starts February. So this is great because that means I can backlog my habits from February. And then it goes all the way until May of 2025. The weekly overview starts in April, and I love the space here. So in this section, this is where I would be memory keeping / gratitude journal / daily journaling. I kind of do wish that this went a month back just for the sake of backlogging, but I did not want to buy a Hobonichi starting in January because I don't think I could backlog since January. I could only backlog since March. That's nice. So the weekly overviews up until, I'm assuming, March. There we go. March of 2025. And then this next section are the dailies. And it starts in April. So the dailies, this takes up a good chunk of this planner. So now you can kind of see why I bought the Hobonichicousin. These daily entries would essentially be my journal, just like the journaling system I have in here, where I have this like dot labeling system. This is where I would journal, quotes, book reviews, and commonplacing. So yeah, it's essentially the Hobonichicousin is replacing both the A6 and the Passion Planner. This is almost like the I don't know, the manuscript of my life for the year in this Hobonichicousin. Like that's what essentially this would be. It does kind of make me sad because I love the Hobonichi A6 and I think I'm still going to use this. I know that defeats the purpose of the reason I even bought the Hobonichicousin, the fact that I didn't want 3 notebooks. I don't know if I'm going to use this for the same purpose, like that whole labeling system. Like, I don't know if I'm going to still be journaling in this in the same way. There may be an overlap, there may not be, but I think I just need to use the cousin first to see if whether or not I can use this. So, summary. The reason I picked up the Hobonichicousin is because it has monthly overviews, weekly overviews, and daily entries. It's a chonker. That means it is replacing both my Passion Planner and my Hobonichi A6. So this here fixes the issue with having 3 notebooks / planners for the year. I'm so upset because sound wasn't recording. But anywho, the video has cut to this cover here. I did buy a cover for the cousin. If I haven't already said this, I bought the cover and the cousin on Amazon because I did not want to wait. This came in like 2 days. Really, really happy. I think the cover came in 1 day because I am now hyper fixated on setting this up, backlogging, and getting things started in this. That is the plan.